All right, let's dive into today's AI news.
Yeah, looks like we've got a lot to cover.
We do, from parents prepping their kids for an AI future to some seriously wild breakthroughs.
It's incredible how fast this field is moving. AI is impacting everything.
Absolutely, and that's what we're diving into today.
Mhm.
One thing that jumped out at me, parents teaching their kids about ChatGPT, almost like it's the new reading and writing.
Right, like it's a core skill now.
Exactly, and it makes you wonder how education is going to keep up.
I mean, we've got universities freaking out about AI-generated essays. How do you even grade anymore?
Seriously, if a student can just have AI write their paper, how can you tell what they actually know?
It's a massive challenge, not just about catching cheaters, but making sure students learn what they need to actually succeed.
Especially when you consider how AI is impacting the job market.
Hmm.
There's this report warning some U.S. cities could see huge job losses from automation.
It's a bit of a wake-up call. We need to be thinking about retraining, giving people the skills for the jobs that AI won't take over.
Definitely, we need to be proactive. But on a more positive note, let's talk AI assistants. Amazon just announced Alexa plus Paul, their new generative AI.
Oh yeah, they're saying it's going to be way more natural, way more capable than anything we've seen before.
It does sound impressive, almost like they're trying to leapfrog everyone else in the AI assistant game.
It'll be interesting to see how it stacks up against, say, Apple. They've been pretty quiet with Siri lately.
Speaking of, there's an article suggesting Apple's falling behind in the AI assistant race. Maybe because they're prioritizing user privacy.
Yeah, that's the balance, right? Innovation versus responsibility. Amazon's pushing boundaries, but maybe Apple's playing the long game, focusing on user trust.
Makes you wonder what approach will win out in the end. But let's talk about some breakthroughs that sound straight out of sci-fi. Arc Institute has an AI that can read and write DNA.
No way, really?
Yeah, they trained it on something like 130,000 species. It's insane.
That is wild.
Yeah.
Think of the possibilities. Personalized medicine, genetic engineering, maybe even tackling climate change through bioengineering.
It's like we're on the verge of understanding life itself on a whole new level. And you've got Honor, the Chinese tech company, they unveiled an AI that can actually read your screen, process visuals, interact with apps.
Wow, that's next level visual understanding. Imagine what that could do for accessibility, helping people with disabilities use tech in totally new ways.
It's definitely groundbreaking stuff. Now let's switch gears for a second and talk about the business side of AI. There's this Bloomberg article about DeepSeek, the Chinese AI company, and their DeepSeek R1 model.
Yeah, they're projecting insane profits, something like 545% margin.
It's eye-popping. Shows the massive profit potential in AI, even undercutting big players like OpenAI.
It's a reminder that this isn't just cutting-edge tech, it's serious business.
Absolutely. And speaking of OpenAI, they just launched GPT 4.5, their latest and greatest. But there's a catch.
Oh, what's that?
Only pro subscribers can access it, and it's a hefty $200 per month.
Wow, that's a premium price tag, but I guess it reflects the demand for AI computing power. They're even saying there's a GPU shortage.
So it's not just about the algorithms anymore. It's about who has the hardware, who has the horsepower to run these advanced models.
Definitely a new battleground in the AI race.
It seems like it.
Yeah.
So we've covered a lot of ground already, but that's just the tip of the iceberg.
There's actually a lot happening beneath the surface, too, stuff that doesn't always make the headlines.
You mean in the research world? The hardcore AI stuff?
Exactly. Like this week, there are a bunch of papers digging into the limitations of these large language models.
Oh, interesting. Like what kind of limitations?
Well, prompt caching is getting a lot of attention. Researchers at Stanford are finding some potential security risks with it.
Prompt caching, for those of us who aren't, coding AI in our basements, what's that all about?
It's basically all about efficiency. When you ask an AI a question, it can take a lot of computing power to generate an answer.
Okay, makes sense.
So to speed things up, some AI providers use this caching system. They store answers to common questions so they don't have to recalculate everything every time.
So like a shortcut for the AI, I get it. But you said there were security concerns.
Yeah, the problem is this caching can potentially leak sensitive info or even let bad actors manipulate the AI's answers.
Uh-oh, that doesn't sound good.
It's a tough balance. You want speed, but you also need security.
Right, so the researchers are trying to figure out how to make it fast without making it vulnerable.
Exactly. How to design these caching systems to protect data without sacrificing speed.
Kind of a constant challenge with AI, right? As it gets more powerful, new problems pop up.
For sure, and that's definitely true with AI agents, this push and pull between innovation and responsibility.
We touched on that earlier with Honor's screen reading AI, But what exactly is an AI agent?
Basically, it's a system that can perceive its environment, make decisions, take actions to achieve a goal. It's not just a tool, it's autonomous.
Okay, so like a little AI helper that could do stuff on its own?
Yeah.
That's both kind of cool and kind of scary.
Right. Huge potential, but also potential risks.
Definitely. So what are researchers focusing on when it comes to AI agents?
One big thing is making them more reliable so we can actually trust them to operate safely.
That makes sense. Anything else?
Yeah, there's this new memory system for AI agents called AMEM. It's supposed to help them be more adaptable and flexible in their decision making.
So like giving AI a more human-like memory.
Exactly. More dynamic, not so rigid. And Microsoft is doing cool stuff with expanding the context window of large language models.
Context window. Refresh my memory on that.
Basically, it's how much info the AI can hold in mind at once, like its short-term memory.
Gotcha.
And they've got this method, LongRoop 2, that can push it to 128,000 tokens. That's like a whole book.
Wow, so it can process way more information, have longer conversation. That's huge.
It's a big step towards AI that can really understand and engage in deep, meaningful dialogue.
It's like they're giving AI bigger brains, literally. What else is happening in the research world?
Well, Tencent AI Lab has this new training method, UPFT. It's way more efficient, focuses on training models only on the first few tokens of their responses.
So teaching AI to learn from its mistakes, but in a more targeted way.
Exactly. And then Google AI has this multi-agent framework, Plangian, that's all about improving planning and reasoning in AI.
Wow. It's like they're building AI that can think strategically, adapt, solve problems.
And all this progress raises some big questions, Are we getting closer to truly intelligent machines?
It's starting to feel like sci-fi is becoming reality.
It really is, but we need to make sure all this power is used responsibly, especially as AI agents become more autonomous.
Definitely a lot to think about there. So we've talked about research, but what about real-world applications? What industries are really using AI in interesting ways? Finance seems to be all over AI right now. We talked about DeepSeek's profits, but there's also AWS teaming up with giants like JP Morgan and Bridgewater.
It's a big shift. AI isn't some fringe thing anymore. It's changing every industry, even the ones that were always slow to adapt.
Yeah, it's like every company wants to be an AI company these days, but is it all hype, or are there real challenges to making AI work in these big sectors?
Oh, there are definitely challenges. One report highlighted how many companies just aren't ready for AI in terms of their data. They've got the ambition, but not the foundation.
So it's not just about having the fancy algorithms, it's about having the right data infrastructure.
Exactly. And then there's the whole AI literacy thing. It's not enough for just the data scientists to get it. Everyone needs a basic understanding.
There was this quote from a data science guy that stuck with me. He said, "The secret to AI success is making it boring."
Boring. How so?
His point was people trust AI more when they understand it, and sometimes the best way to understand it is to strip away the hype, make it clear and simple.
Makes sense. Take the mystery out of it.
Yeah, demystify it.
Yeah.
But speaking of AI's impact, we got to talk about the job market. That's always a big one.
Right. Will AI create jobs or destroy them? It's the million-dollar question.
There's this article about how the Trump administration laid off thousands of IRS workers during tax season, and the argument is that AI could do those jobs.
It's a valid concern, and not just in government. Plenty of private sector jobs could be automated too.
It's definitely a possibility. So what do we do? How do we prepare for that shift?
Education, retraining, we got to help people adapt, give them the skills for the jobs AI can't do.
So as AI keeps advancing, we need to keep having these conversations, make sure it benefits everyone, not just a select few.
Absolutely. It's about being responsible with this technology, shaping the future in a way that works for humanity.
Well said. And to our listeners, we encourage you to keep learning, keep asking questions. The future of AI is something we all need to be a part of shaping.
Couldn't agree more, and we'll be back tomorrow to dive into even more AI news and breakthroughs.
Until then, stay curious.